Hi guys, my name is Swiksha and today we're going to be doing a floating marker ink experiment. So let's get started. For this experiment, you're going to need a couple materials. You're going to need some dry erase markers, a plate, and a cup of water. The first step of this experiment is to grab some dry erase markers and pick which ones you want to use. For this one, I chose pink and red. Then you're going to draw on any design you want onto the plate with the dry erase markers. This is what my plate looked like after I finished drawing. You can literally choose any design you want for this experiment. For this second plate, I chose to do orange and pink confetti. This next part's the fun part. You're going to take your cup of water and pour it over the design so it covers the surface of the plate. Right after I poured the water, the drawing started to float off. What happened in this experiment? In this experiment, we drew different designs onto a plate using dry erase markers. We observed that once we poured water onto our designs, they started to float. And this mainly happened because of density. Density measures how much matter is contained by a certain volume. So in this experiment, the marker ink was less dense compared to the water, and that's why it started to float.
Hi everyone, welcome back to Club Phoenix. My name is Remy Jalkakar, and today we're going to be doing a really cool experiment called Magic Mud. Magic Mud is this really interesting substance, which is like putty, but then once you stop playing with it, it immediately dissolves into a weird liquid form. Also, it's glow in the dark. So let's talk more about how to make this really cool substance. So in order to make this substance, you have to have potatoes because we're going to be making this substance based off of potatoes. So the first thing you want to do is make sure that your potatoes are very nice and clean. I recommend removing all of these little stubs on them. Also, please have a parent or guardian around to help you. The next step is to cut your potato into very small pieces. I highly recommend using a food processor, but if you don't have one, then you can just do it with a knife. Again, this is the part that you might need a parent's help with. Okay, so as you can see, I've chopped up all my potatoes and they look like this. Actually, I only used around 3/4 of the potato, but you can use however much you want. Next, what you want to do is you want to pour enough hot water into the bowl so that the potatoes are completely submerged. I'm going to go warm up my water now. Okay, as you can see, I've warmed up my water, and now I'm going to get ready to put it in here. Oh, that's a bit hot, so you might want to use the towel. There we go. So don't hesitate to ask a parent or guardian to help you with this. Okay, my potatoes are now fully submerged. So here's what it looks like. Now what you want to do is just stir this around for a few minutes. And you may notice that the water's turning red, but that is totally normal, and just keep this up for about 2 minutes. Okay, so now that you've finished stirring, you should see that the water should look like this. And then once you realize that it's been a few minutes, the stirring is pretty much done, what you do is you grab a sifter or a strainer. It's really your choice. I'm just using this one because it's larger and I have a lot of potatoes. But if you have a bigger version of this, that might be like the most helpful. And then another white bowl. What you want to do is pour the liquid. And again, this might be hot, so be careful. But pour it in so that you can separate the liquid from the solid. Okay, everybody, it's been half an hour, and as you can see, a layer of white goo has formed at the bottom. What's really interesting is if you try pouring it out, the white goo stays in. Okay, so this is exactly what the white goo looks like. Now, I didn't get to make a lot of white goo because my potato was low starch, but I really recommend using high starch potatoes because this is exactly what we're extracting, starch. So what you want to do is grab a plate and make sure to put this water to the side and just pour your goo out. This might take a while, seeing that the goo is very sticky, but just leave it like that and then you can start playing around with it. So let's take a look at this really awesome goo. As you can see, when I move it around in my hands, it's very sticky and gooey. But then when you drop it down, it just immediately liquefies.
Okay, so the next part of the experiment is to make the goo glow in the dark. Unfortunately, we won't be able to do this today because it requires tonic water. So tonic water has a chemical in it called quinine. Quinine is exactly what gives it its glow-in-the-dark qualities. The problem is we don't have it today, so I won't be able to show you. What you want to do is take your glue and pour a little bit of tonic water in it. Then sift it again just like we did today, and your goo should become glow-in-the-dark. The way you can test this is with the black light, but not many people have black lights in their homes, so you probably won't be able to see it. So let's talk about the science behind what happened today. Basically, what this really is it's the starch that comes from potatoes. So starch has a really interesting quality where if you combine it with water, it turns into this hard kind of goo, but when you leave it alone, it softens into liquid, or rather liquidy form. So what happens is if you leave this alone for a few days, the water will eventually evaporate and you'll be left with just a starchy powder. So yeah, that's all we have for today. I hope you enjoyed Club Phoenix. Oh, and one more thing I should mention is the potatoes are safe to eat, so I think you might have just helped with family dinner if you did this activity. Okay, thank you so much, and I hope you join us next time.